Hey y'all, and welcome to Politibrawl. My name is Brian, and this Democrat completely freaks out when Lawrence Jones plays this video. She has no idea how to respond to this. Now let's dive in.
So, Senator, part of the sticking point is that Section 2141 part of the bill. And that's the funding that a lot of Republicans are pointing to, that when you look at it, it can go to illegals in emergency hospitals and things like that. But Democrats are saying that's not true. But when you actually dive in the numbers there, that is a sticking point, and it is true, right?
Well, we know that Medicare, Medicaid, and the Affordable Care Act health insurance market all prohibit anybody who's illegal from getting access to health care. So if there are places, what you're referring to is a provision that was put in place back when Ronald Reagan was president that said hospitals and emergency rooms had to treat people who showed up and needed care. So the idea that this is an effort to make sure that illegal immigrants can get health care is just not true.
But Senator,
I think all of us want to see any fraud and abuse that's part of the program addressed. You know, I was a governor. I worked very hard to make sure we got the best we could from every single tax dollar. And that's what I think most of us want at the federal level as well.
But Senator, to that point, and you know this, and I don't want, you're right that that rule exists, and it was passed by Ronald Reagan. But during the big, beautiful bill, there was debate on this, and there were some modifications to that to remove, when it comes to some of those loopholes. They call it the California loophole. When it comes to some of the undocumented immigrants, the illegal immigrants, and some of the people that aren't Americans just yet, that may be going through the asylum process, they took that out during the big, beautiful bill. And it looks like Democrats are trying to stick that portion back in. So, you know, we can go back and forth on the small little details, but in fact, people that aren't in the country legal.
Well, that's not a small little detail. I would disagree with you. I think that big, beautiful bill was passed with totally Republican votes. I'm not interested in seeing that we provide health care for illegal immigrants. What I am interested in seeing is that people who are going to get pushed out of their health insurance because we're not willing to extend those tax credits are really going to be hurt, and that's going to affect the whole health care system. So I think we can agree we all want to deal with waste and fraud. We all want to make sure that it's American citizens and legal Americans who are getting access to health care. The illegal immigrant is just a red herring that's designed to try and prevent people from talking about the real issue, which is how do we provide health insurance for people in this country?
You know, I say a little detail, you say a red herring, but the fact is, Senator, that
no, I'm agreeing with you. Listen, I'm agreeing with you. You're trying to make an issue where there isn't one.
No,
we agree.
Senator,
illegal immigrants should not be getting access to the Affordable Care Act marketplace.
100%, Senator. But what I'm saying is that members of your party are making this an issue.
Well, I can't speak for members of my party, and I don't think you're right. I think you're making it an issue. Vice President Vance is making it an issue, but I haven't heard anybody in my party saying that illegal immigrants should get access to the health insurance marketplace.
I'm so glad you said that. Actually, I have some tape of your Democratic Party members saying this on the debate stage, so they've all said it. Let's play the clip.
A lot of you have been talking tonight about these government health care plans that you've proposed in one form or another. This is a show of hands question, and hold them up for a moment so people can see. Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants. Okay.
Senator, that's literally every member of your party, from moderate to more progressive, that have said that in the past. I'm seeing them all on the table.
I beg to disagree with you. I have not said that in the past. In New Hampshire, we do not provide health insurance for illegal immigrants. We have never done that. And you're just wrong. So the question right now is, what are we going to do to ensure that we're not kicking 24 million Americans, raising their premiums for health insurance, doubling those, and kicking 4 million Americans off of their health insurance?
The constant blinking is a facial tell, because it means you are trying to reorganize and reorient your position, and you're constantly trying to change your vision in order to go along with that process. Again, the best liars don't blink. And Again, I'm good at that. And I recognize that. And I apologize if I've ever done so. But this Democrat from New Hampshire, she's a sitting senator. She knows the truth. She knows that her party and a big portion of her constituency thinks that giving money to illegal immigrants is a good thing. All right? They do. They do. At their core, they do. And there's actually a positive reason for that. It's the only way they can show their patriotism. They're so guilty with their own success. They feel so bad about it that they feel the need to share it. They feel this inherent need to share it with people who haven't earned it and will break the law in order to receive these payouts. That's not a fair system. As a matter of fact, that's a corrupt system. And that's one that leaves out Americans who deserve similar benefits, but they're being withheld. All because those Americans are legal. They're here. They were born here. They have American citizenship. They were able to go down to the driver services and get their license. The Democrat world is insane. And I think the best way to put it is from Tim Pool. There are people that live in the constitutional republic. All right? Those would be the majority of Republicans and a handful of Democrats. But the majority of Democrats live in a transnational democracy. And a minority of Republicans believe in that as well. We're not a transnational democracy. We are a constitutional republic. We have quite literal laws in place, and that we dare to enforce them is antithetical to the entire worldview of the majority of Democrats. I'm trying to explain things as best I possibly can because this phenomenon needs to be understood in order to defeat it. We have a difficult fight on our hands. We're not fighting just for the ideas of the Founding Fathers. We're not just fighting for the ideals of freedom. We're not even fighting for our fundamental liberties, and yet we are. We are. We are in the most unusual conflict you can possibly think of. Because it's not against flesh and blood, it's against ideas. It's against something that is just so out there in the ether that you can't get an actual grasp on it. We're fighting against an idea that our country should be so open that we ooze out. There's a great Ronald Reagan quote that I'm not even sure that it's Ronald Reagan. But there's a quote about liberals that they're so open-minded that their brains leak out. And that's what's happening here. Except for the fact that she knows. She knows what she's saying is wrong. She knows that her party is going in the wrong direction. She knows it, and she goes forward anyways. When you change your facial expression just to this expressive, oh, how dare you, not, ugh. There's a difference between the sigh of, are you kidding me, to, how dare you. It's an upward tilt compared to a downward tilt. This is basic human psychology and body language. And her body language in the middle of the interview, right when Lawrence goes, right before he plays the video, she goes, oh. She has this look like, how dare you? How dare you tell the truth and force me to confront the truth? Y'all, I don't get in the weeds too often, but I felt that I needed to on this one. And I hope I provided enough context and actually to make this whole scenario work. But this Democrat, Shaheen, she's a sitting senator. An entire state thought, yeah, we're going to vote for this person who clearly knows the truth, but lies about it. We are in a dangerous point in our country, and I'm terrified of what our future looks like. I'm glad that we've got some people in there that are trying to reform the process, but I don't think we understand quite what's coming. And the best way to deal with that future is for Democrats to stop lying to their people and their constituents and finally start admitting the truth. It's going to hurt them for about 20 years, but it might help heal the nation. Because I'm terrified of what might come if they don't realize their own mistakes. But again, let me know if I'm getting way too off in the weeds on this. Lawrence Jones does a fantastic job here, and Senator Shaheen, she knows what she's doing. She knows. Well, let me know what you think down in the comments below. My name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on Politibrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. And until then, y'all have a good one.